So why is it that other players seems to be so much better than you? Well, I want to go over a few reasons why that is and how you can start applying certain things so that you're catching up and so that you're improving time and time again. You know, a lot of times, especially when you're younger, when you're a kid, you'll see someone you know maybe just go through a transformation where you've seen them and then you see them again a little later and they're so much better as a player and maybe you haven't improved as much. Or you can sometimes just look at a player the same age, maybe even a little younger, and you're like, how have they gotten so good, yet they're better than me, and what are they doing? Right? Now, a lot of times people go to the conclusion that, well, this player is just more talented, this player is just more gifted. And I want to throw that argument out right away. Anytime you use the excuse of the player being more talented or gifted, you are just, again, playing the victim and using an excuse to why you're not at that same place. You know, again, I'm a huge proponent for the idea that talent really isn't even a thing. Yes, there are players who start earlier, which gives them an advantage, but it's not because they're more talented than someone. If you really want to learn about this idea, just read the book Peak, where they have proven this. This is not something that is like really that up for debate that much. Talent really isn't that much of a thing. There isn't really a talent gene. There isn't really something that predisposes you to be a good footballer. It just doesn't exist. And again, looking to the research of Anders Ericsson, if that's something you still use as an excuse or as an argument, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. Because the thing is, when you see a player go from one place to a completely other place in ability, you don't know what's happening in the background. Across the board, whenever that is happening, they are putting in the work consistently and they are putting in the right amount of work. They're not just grinding and hustling without direction. They actually have proven systems in place. They're actually getting feedback usually from people who know what they're talking about, from good coaches or so on. They're usually putting in the individual work. You have to look at your own game and what you're doing. You know, what are you doing to improve your game? For example, if you're not doing individual training, you know, I've gone over this so often, then what are you doing? If your goal is to improve, then you need to be doing individual training. You're just not going to get enough from team training. You should be out there most days working on different skills, having a system that you can follow that's going to improve your technical ability, that's going to improve your ball control and your dribbling and your skill moves, going to give you the confidence in these different areas to go out there and perform. And again, we go over how to get more confident in an area. One thing I go over in Complete Soccer Confidence, one of the first things is you just train that area more and more and more. If you are practicing the step over, and you haven't done it that much, and then you go in a game and try and do it, you're going to be a little nervous in doing it and probably mess it up. But if you've done it in training multiple times over and over and over again, you've practiced the movement, you've practiced the timing, you've beaten a few players with it, well, guess what? You're going to be completely confident and almost automatic. In fact, you will get to the point of automatic when doing it. And that just comes down to consistency. And consistency is the magic word. Now, there's more nuance to it. Again, you could be consistently doing something that's not that helpful or consistently doing something that's very helpful. That's why having a proven system is amazing. If you go consistently to the field and just wing it, you don't really have a plan, you don't know what you're working on, you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, you haven't really honed in on what it is you need to work on in general, for most players, what you need to work on individually for you, then yeah, you're not going to get too many results, or they're going to be kind of random. They're not going to be quite measurable, which is just, you know, you're setting yourself up to fail in that way. But whenever you usually see a player, again, that's just gone from one place to like doubling their ability, or just, you know, months later, it's like, wow, how is their shooting that good? How is their control that good? They just seem so much more intelligent in the game. A lot of times this is because they're doing the work and they're doing it in a very smart way, which means a proven system, whether that means they have an individual coach, whether they've gotten onto an online training program and they're actually doing it. It's almost always the case. This doesn't just happen magically. This doesn't just happen where it's like, oh, I see them like this and now they're like this and it's like magic. There's always something going on in the background, and that's what you want to determine, what is happening in the background, because you can also do that. You can replicate whatever these players that you have deemed have gotten really good so fast, or it seems like they've magically gotten better, or you get to a certain team and it's like, how is this player so good? You know, it's not rocket science. They've been training consistently. They've been doing the right type of training. They're in a system. A lot of them might be working with a personal coach one-on-one. I mean, how many personal coaches are there now? You know, when I was a kid, we didn't really have that. There weren't too many options to get one-on-one coaching, like with a trainer or something. Today, you see them all over the place. You know, you go on Instagram and it's hard not to find like so many of them, right? So you can look in your area. I know maybe right now it might be difficult, but you can look in your area to find if there's a reputable coach or trainer who has a proven track record of making players better. And if you can afford to do it, go do that. right? I mean, that's going to improve one-on-one coaching with someone who knows what they're doing in person is one of the best things you can do to improve your game. And I've also worked with players online most of the time who have also at the same time been doing one-on-one work along with some of the drills I've been giving them, and they've grown so quickly to the point where someone looking from the outside in might be like, how the hell have they done that? It looks like magic because only a few months have gone by. Now imagine a year going by or 2 years of that or 3 years. And so ultimately understand when you come across a player in your age group or even younger that's better than you or it seems they've improved quickly, there's always something going on in the background and you can also do that thing at some level. If you can't afford to get into anything, then you can do just your own individual training, look at other channels, look at my channel, look for drills you can do that make sense and put in the time to create a system that's going to work for you. The next thing you can do, which is even better, is buy an online training program because that's going to be a proven system already made for you, and it's like plug and play. You just have to put in the effort, follow the program, and you're in. And I'd say one up beyond that is getting a personal coach. It can be online. One up above that would be a personal coach in person, an actual trainer you can work with. And there's so many of them. Again, look for someone in your area if that's something you want to do. And again, there's different levels to it, but choose whichever one works for you in your current situation. And again, if you want to improve your game in the same way you've seen some of these players improve their game in this dramatic way, in this really what seems like quick growth type of way, you also can do that if you do the same thing. All right, guys, I just wanted to make that video because I don't want there to be any illusions about like, oh, this person's just talented, this person's just gifted. It's just like, oh, they're just X, Y, and Z that I can't do is happening. Yeah, not everyone can get a personal trainer yet. Not everyone can maybe even afford, a modestly priced training program, but you can always do something. If you're not individually training, for example, that's the first step, right? You can't not be individually training and then complain about why someone's becoming better than you or why you're not as good as you want to be. I mean, that's the first step. So take that step. The next step is, making sure, again, you have some kind of system that's going to guarantee results so long as you do it. Again, so many out there that you can choose from. Take a look at some of mine if you want to. There's so many different things you can do, but ultimately don't be disillusioned. Don't be under the illusion that there's some magical talent-based thing going on. If you put in the work consistently, the right kind of work consistently, you will get the results consistently and sometimes very quickly. So that's what I want to leave you with. Again, let me know if you like these little impromptu videos. We'll also have the edited videos as well, and I'll see you in the next video.